All right, close this door. Good morning. It is day 15 of this game jam, and I am so over schedule, but it's fine because today is the day that I'm going to finish the enemy layout, and that should really wrap up a good chunk of the trouble I've been having over the past day and a half. I sorry, just checking messages just came in. All right. Sorry, I posted all this stuff online to get people to pay attention, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm just looking at some comments back. So, okay, where did I leave off? Now, the biggest thing that I have implemented now is full support for the platforms, and I've done a lot of things where now, like let's set this to K. G. Why is it not? Oh, I lost my mouse. That's why. Hey, it's the first couple of minutes of the stream, so of course everything's gonna stop working. Give me my mouse back. Alright, my Mac has decided to take over my mouse, so hopefully in another second or two it'll reconnect. I don't know, Synergy's been so bad lately. I have to like look into why it just keeps crashing. I think they're trying to do this on purpose to force me to upgrade to the new version. There we go. Now I got my mouse back. Okay. Whoops. I don't want to do that. I want to get out of this. And what I was doing was showing you that if we go to HIJK, we have a full platform. Each of these are their own little quadrants, or I call them blocks. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the blocks are 5 by 2. So if I come in here now and I try to set this to K, it should fail. Okay, so it still says K. There's nothing I can really do about that, but you'll see that it only draws as much as it can because the issue or the rules and the limitations I have around platforms is that they can only be 8. They can only be 8 tiles long, so that there's always some gaps in between for when you're making a level. So if I come back here and I go over here and I start changing, you see how the K that was here went back to D because it'll auto-correct itself now and get you to the right platform. The other thing that I added in now is much better support for laying out the player. There's some weirdness that I need to go look into as to why it jumps back and forth. I think that has something more to do with with it just not being able to find the right character, because you can only drop a player down where there is a platform. But the enemies are an utter mess. I have it where you can lay them out. I have some like stuff blocked out, but basically for the next like 30 minutes or so, I'm hoping only 30 minutes. I've been talking. I've been talking to Copilot to try to figure out how to lay this out. So if any of you out there are very good at compression, please pipe up. But basically, my theory is this: what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this down to where I only have. What I want to do is each character is going to represent, each character in the level code is going to represent a single enemy, and what I'm trying to do is pack in as much information as I can. So I really want to get in the position of the enemy, and I want to get in the flip value of the enemy. In an ideal world, I'd like to also get a type in, but I don't know if I'm going to have enough characters. So basically, what I've been telling it to do, we've increased the character count to 44. So it went up to Z, but now I've added in some special characters just because I'm trying to buy myself some extra room here. If I come here and we look now at the meta tiles, I should actually save this. You can see I've added in these placeholder characters. In fact, we should actually let's just fill them in right now with the right colors, and then I'll go back in later and I'll turn them into regular fonts. But so this gives us 44 characters, and for some reason, I got to do one other thing here. I also have to say, I also have to export this as, we're in the backgrounds, we're in meta tiles. We need to go to the tile set and update that as well. So yes. Okay. Why? Yes, I want to replace it. Why is this not working? All right, we'll just do save as. It's fine. Assets, tile sets, this, and we'll hit save. Okay. And then while I talk, I'll just have this do a rebuild just to make sure that it works. We need to, oops, I don't want to switch projects. We do want to save. I want to reload assets. And that didn't seem to update anything. Interesting. Also, let's save as, I think the problem was that I was in meta tiles. Let's save this here. Replace. I think I was just in the same file. So now if we come here and we reload the assets, okay, everything should now work. What I need to do though is I got to figure out, I can't remember what this palette was. I think it's this. Yeah. All right, and then that's not this palette, that is. Nope. Nope. Is there a... There isn't one that lets me know what the palette is, right? It doesn't tell me. Oh, cool. Now I can't remember what... There we go. We'll just make these this. So if I rebuild this now, it should update the tile map and give us the option to add in these characters, although I need to add in the logic. So what I was hoping to do is get it to where I can pack in the position. I just want to make sure that this actually works. Okay, cool. I want to be able to pack the position of the enemy into a single character, but I only have 44 characters to do this in. And the way that I was thinking of doing it was that we would have a, we only need to know there's 16 possible positions based on the grid. So if we come back here, we look at the editor, we have each of these positions. So we have this block, this block, this block. And my thinking was that if we just put the enemy in a single block, starting at this position, then we can offset it. So all we really need to know is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wait, 1? No, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So there's 16 possible places that the player can go. And then there's an offset of 4. So that's 16. I was trying to do the math earlier. So 16 is 2. Whoops, it's 2, 4, 8, 16. So that's 4 bytes there. And then if we added another byte, which gets us to 32, we have 32. And then the problem here is we go to 64, but we really don't have 64. We really have, we have only a partial byte, and I'm not understanding why. I'm not really understanding how Copilot is figuring out its math. I don't know how you have a fractional byte, but I don't want to have 64 characters. So I think we're still stuck within this this space, because technically these two are 4. I wonder what we could do. Well, let's work through this problem. Let's see what it has to say. So I've fed it in a bunch of information. One of the ways that I'm doing this now and I've actually seen the Copilot's been doing this for me, is that it creates markdown files to sort of document as it goes along. I guess is a way of saving knowledge between different sessions. And so now I'm having it work only in this markdown file as I hash out how this should work. So what I want to see is at 44 characters, we have 38.1 bits total. That's not, like, I don't think it's understanding your offset approach needs 7 bits per enemy to cover 81 values. We only have 32 bits available. Gap, 4 bits short. Reduces 6 bits per enemy. I don't think it understands. Can you explain your logic behind how you are calculating 44 chars as 38.21 bits? You're with 44 each char 0 through 9 plus A through Z is how many bytes was it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 bytes. It's 5 bytes. Where are you coming up with this math? If we reserve the first 4 bytes for the block, we have 1 byte flag. That can be 1 or 0. So we can use that to mark if an enemy is in the block or not. That gets us 6 chars for the level code. Then we need to figure out the offset and direction for each enemy. So there are 4 offsets, which is 2 bytes, or 2 bits, and we can pack 2, 4, right? We can split this up and make this, we can split these 2 bits into 4, we can split these 2 bits into 4, and then we'd have this 1 bit left as another sort of flag. So we can pack 2 enemy offsets into 4 bits. To 4 bits, meaning we'd need an additional, how many bits? 2, 4, 6, an additional 3 level chars, then 1 char for a bit mask flip for each of the enemies. But we can only go up to 4. We only do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. meaning we'd need 6 bits, but only have room for 5 bits in a 32 char. Wait, 30. It's actually 36 char system. System. All right, let's see what it's thinking here. Because I think the one thing I need to do is I need to reduce the number of enemies. So let's just do the math here, right? So we can represent a single. We can represent all of the 16 plus 1. This gets rounded down to a single byte, right? So we have 16. We're actually going to do it this way. We'll do 2, 4, 8, 16, and then 32 is 1 or 0. Just ignore this stuff over here. This is a really cool. I love this this calculator called Numi, because I can just write all this stuff out and visualize it, and then it'll do the math off to the side. So if we have 5 enemies, if we reduce, let's just, to keep things simple, basically what we have is a byte mask of 5, right? We have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So I think the most that we can actually have are 5 enemies. Because in this case, if we flip them around, like this is 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, these 2 byte masks, or bit masks, I guess, are going to represent one of the enemy's flipping directions. So what we need to figure out here is that if the most that we can pack into a single byte, and what I'm treating a byte is really just one of the characters in the level code, because I don't want it, like, technically in a byte you have 256, a value of 256, but I don't want you to have to press like the A button 256 times to cycle through every single character. So what we're doing is like sort of a hybrid of, instead of it being like a hex based system, we're doing actually like a 32 based number system. And so in that case, what winds up happening is that we need 5. So we need 5 characters chars per enemy. We need, what was my math doing? So we need exactly 64 discrete values for the direction bit mask, but 32 character system only provides 32 discrete values. I think there must be another way of doing this. There has to be. The other way I was trying to do this, I was trying to figure out were patterns. And actually we need one other pattern. All right, I'm going to clear all these and we're going to do this again. So the first pattern is always empty. The next pattern is this. These flip. Then we have this, which flips. We have this, which is the same. And then we have 1, 2, 3. The way that the pattern system works is that this is just a lookup table to help compress data. So now what we've done is we've gone from having to know the offset. We can now actually represent a single platform based on an ID. But what I'm concerned about here is that we actually need 10. There's actually 10 different patterns. And this is going to be a lot, because if we, so the problem is when we're going like bytes like this, and we're trying to pack in data into these bytes, anytime we spill over to the next byte, we now lose all that fidelity. Meaning that if we need, in this case, we have 10 different patterns. there really is no 10 here. We actually have to jump up to 16. And that means that now, in order to represent all of these patterns, we're back to 4. And the other way of doing it is that we could just pack this, 32. I'm just trying to think through if we did 1 byte, then we have, or that's 1 set of offsets. So I'm trying to do this in real time in my head while I'm saying this all, and it doesn't really work that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we can only go up to 32, so that only gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bytes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so now that means we need to go to the next, but I'm just trying to see if we can pack them into multiple bytes. So so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this gets us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we can now do the offset in 2 chars using 4 bytes per per offset. All right, let's go back and let's talk to this a little bit more. Split the directions across 2 characters, right? Okay. 8 total chars. Option B, expand the 64 char set to add 28 more characters. We're not doing that. Use a different direction encoding scheme. Your bit packing analysis is exactly right. We're precisely 28 values short of what we need for a clean 6-bit direction mask. Okay. All right. Let's try this. We reduce the enemies to 5, and we represent each enemy's layout. I'm just trying to think through here. So my math is off by 1. Shoot. Yeah, this is a stupid way it's doing this. There's only... Let me go back to the pattern. I think there's some sort of hybrid now that we have to figure out between approaches, because I'm just trying to think through the math here. We have 10. So if we go to 10, we immediately lose a whole byte just for 1 value. And there's too many permutations in order to sort of pack in the 6 patterns. And then flip the pattern. 6 doesn't get us much either. Although actually, well, no, it still packs in the same amount because we still have it. So what I'm trying to figure out here is if we just went by like patterns, right? We could get 6 patterns into the first 3 bits, and then we can use the last bit as a flag for 1 or 0 to tell whether the pattern has been flipped. But that still is the same value as using 4 bits. The problem is that there's a low resolution, I guess you could say. Like we can only get so much data out of 32 characters. 26, 36. So if we don't map it to something else, then we lose a lot of data. That's why these kind of systems are really like right now. This system is incredibly inefficient because there's not enough patterns to really take advantage of the 32 characters that we have. And then the other issue, the biggest issue really is that every enemy uses up one character for its positioning. There's no way for us to combine that easily. So let me go back here and run this game, and I can sort of try to walk through this a little bit more. Yeah, this stuff is complicated. I mean, the biggest issue that I'm running into is like the goal for this game, because I have the core mechanic I have down. I've built this game twice now for game jams, but what I haven't done and what I'm trying to figure out is this level editor. So here's what we have. The first 16 characters, like if I go here and we switch out, the first 16 characters, let's make this a K because that's the final, whoops, not that. My keyboard is mapped to X, and that's also the Windows key, so if I hold it down for too long, it pops up. All right, so we have that. We need one character for the player, and then we have, I'm going to mark this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the offset, and then we have 2 characters remaining. So if we can get this down to 5 characters. Now the real question is, it's really hard to figure out the flipping. The flipping is going to have to be its own character. So we have 1. I'm missing something. Like my brain's not working correctly for this. If we only have 36 characters, 0 through 9 plus A through Z, that is 5 bits, right? Oh no, I've run out of my premium. Great, now I get the dummy model. All right, let's see here. I thought she had more time. Here's a clear breakdown. 36 characters is 36 unique values. In binary, the numbers of bits needed to represent n value is n ceiling n log. You need 6 bits to represent all 32 values. With 5 bits, you can only represent 32 values, 0 through 31. With 6 bits, you can represent 64, but your character set only covers 35. What does this mean for encoding? Each character in your code can store a value from 0 to 35. If you want to store a value that needs more than 36 possibilities, like a 6-bit directional mask, you need 0s through 63. You can't do it in a single character with only 36 symbols. If you want to encode a block, wait. Okay, I get this. Sorry, fits. Can we cheat and use 6 chars? Oops. Chars to wait. Can we cheat and use 36 chars to represent 6 bits? So anything over 32, we mark as 1 for the final bit. All right, I think this is one thing that I'm trying to figure out now is like, can we actually just cheat by, if we know that we can only pack 32 bits in, you could cheat and use 36 characters to represent 6 bits, but you will lose information for values 36. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about losing the value. If you use the top bits, the 5 bits value 32 as a marker, you could do for value 0 the encode is this, and then for values 36 encode is a value 32 bit bit 5 equals 1, but you lose which value it was. But when decoding, you can't tell if the char meant 0 to 32 or 1 through 33, etc. You lose the ability to distinguish the upper half of the 6-bit space. You can only reliably store 5 bits in a single 36 choice. If you try to store 6 bits, you lose information and can't reconstruct the original value. Right, okay. Alright, I remember now what's going on. The reason why, basically what it's saying is that if we try to cheat, so if we say, let me go back over to my calculator. So basically what it's saying is that this is the most that we can do, right? So if we try to pack another number in, let's say we go over 32, let's say we go to 33. We can't reliably subtract 32 from every single number in order to isolate that last bit. So the fidelity we get is that we only are able to do 32, we're only able to do 32, a value of 32 within 4 bits. If we wanted to get to the 5th bit accurately, we would need to have a 64 character lettering, not like symbol system, and that's just like, it's like too much to just sit here and keep going through like 64 of these. I mean, even 32 is a bit much, but at least because it's based on alphabet, it doesn't mentally seem that complicated. It gets really tough though if you're like, okay, here's the alphabet, and then here are 32 other wacky symbols you need to go find, and there's no order, rhyme, or reason to them. So we need to figure out how to get all the information for a single character's layout position in these 5 bits. 2, 3, 4, 5. And because of this, right, okay, yeah, we only have 5. I was going to say, like, in other ways you could do this is that you could actually do like a spillover, right? You could say, okay, I'm using 5 bits for this information. That gives me 2 additional bits. Sorry, 3 additional bits. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 3 additional bits. And then what we could do is we could say like, okay, well, we'll just add the next 3 bits, then we'll offset it to the next. But the problem is this is, we're not using 256 characters. We're losing all of that. The highest we can go is 32 right now. So let's figure out now, how do we pack all this information into here? So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 16 here. So that immediately gets us to, where's Numi? There used to be a way to, I think this leaves it on top. Just caught that sneeze. I thought, let me update this real quick. On the Mac, there's a way of making this where it always stays on top. But I don't know if that actually still works. So, going back to what I was saying. We can basically use this information right here to represent a single enemy's position. And the way that it's going to work is going to be like this. So an enemy, so we have 5, we have 5 bits per enemy. So that means that 2, 4, 8, and 16 bytes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are for the zone, or the block. And then 32 is 0 or 1. So that is the flag an enemy. I don't know why my brain is not. This isn't working how I want it to work. The issue here, the problem that I'm having, I think we have to go to the pattern matching stuff, because the problem here is that even if I said that there's an enemy in that position, in that location, it's hard to tell how many enemies and where. So, okay, that's the, I think this is what we're starting to get boxed into. So now we have 10 patterns here. These all represent a unique number. So 10 gets us to this, and what did I want to use this last bit for? We're losing a bit, because if we represent 2, 4, 8, 16, because we need 10, we're automatically spilling over into 16. The only way we can do this is with 4 bits. But because we can go to up to 32, we technically have an extra bit to do something with. I'm just not sure what to do with it yet, because if we had 5 enemies, so 5 multiplied by 5, if we use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 5 divided by 8, that gets us to 3 characters. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with this extra byte. It's going to be some sort of like mask, but I'm not sure what to do with it yet. I think we're just going to wind up with this. Okay, let's see what this has to say for itself. Okay. I want to use patterns for the enemies. To what we did with the platforms. There are 10 unique QU. Sure, whatever. I can't. There's no spell check in this, and I can't spell, so whatever. Luckily, the LLM doesn't really care if I spell or not. There are 10 unique patterns, so we could represent the code in 8 characters, or in let me see what it has to say about this. So that still gets us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the bit mask would handle the flipping. And we still have, then we have one more. All right, store the pattern index your level code decoding. When loading the level, look up the pattern and its index in its place. Only one character needed for the entire enemy layout. Simple, no need to encode individual positions or directions. You are limited to 10 predefined enemy layouts per level. No pre-level customization in any position unless you have more. Define your 10 enemy patterns as arrays or bitmasks, assigning each pattern a unique. Alright, so let me pass it over this list. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nowhere else to really put. Yeah, this has to be. Let me see here. Does this look like the valid enemy layout patterns, or am I missing anything? So apparently this is a good start, but there are a few things to clarify. Each pattern represents a full enemy layout. The number of strings per pattern should match the number of rows. Single index per pattern. Some patterns are repeated. Each string should use the same length. Alright, I don't know what you're doing here. Perpetuity array. Your approach is correct, but ensure each pattern is unique. Cover the full enemy area, and it's consistently formatted. If you want, you can help generate more patterns. I don't think it's smart enough to do what I'm asking you to do at the moment. Let me just double check and go through this again. So the way that I set up this tool is that if I add a new pattern, right? If I add a new pattern, if the pattern already exists, it's going to gray out. So I don't know what the people next door are doing, but I could feel the floor vibrating, and it's 9:54 on a Sunday morning. But okay. So if we put an enemy here, we're covered. If we put an enemy here, we're covered. If we put an enemy here and here, we're covered. If we put 3 enemies down, we're covered. We wouldn't be covered here, but we can't have enemies next to each other. So there we're not covered. There we're covered. Here we're covered. Here we're covered. Here we're covered. Okay. We're not covered here. So that pattern is this and this. Wait, what was that pattern before? Okay, I see what it is. I don't have these sort of unique ones, but that's fine. Okay. The good news is that I don't think there's enough variation here that we ever go over 36 patterns. So let me add another pattern here. All right, we're good here, and we're good here. Okay. All right, I've gotten this down to 13 patterns now. So that's 0. So, well, hex. If hex is 16, we're underneath the hex value, so they were good. Hex being 0 through 9, then A, B, C, D, E, F gets you to 16. So we're under that. All right, let's go back here. Right. Should be 13 patterns. You can see each of the unique pattern IDs at the end in. Oops, wait, hold on. Stop. Can you edit this back? No. Alright, I'll just recopy this again and do it. Alright, pretty soon I'm going to start just coding things, or at least having this code most of it for me at the moment, just to simplify things. Great, you have 13 unique enemy pattern layouts, which should represent How does it get to reserved unused pattern example? I don't know what the hell this means, but sure. Okay, so now we have 13. All right. So now we can represent 5 enemies. So now we can represent 5 enemies in 5 level code chars. All right, it's updating this document. I mean, it's more verbose than I used to be when I write this kind of stuff. All right, the document now includes a clear section listing all 13 unique enemy patterns, their IDs, binary representation, and pattern to character mapping. This provides a concise reference. Let me know if you want to proceed with input. Okay, so now we can represent 5 enemies in 5 level code chars, correct? Yes, the final pattern basis. All right, you can represent. Okay, now we can use. And we can use a single char. Wait, a single level char as a bit mask for the flip directions, since 32 is 5 bits. Correct? Right? 5 bits. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's correct. With 5 enemy patterns, one per one, you can use a single additional level code. Each bit in the mask represents the direction for one enemy, so you need 5 chars for patterns. Alright, so I think the limitation we have right now is 5 enemies, which actually works out fine because I think I was running into performance issues anyways. Okay. Can you now? So that leaves us with 1 char, 1 char left, right? Let's double check that. Where's this? Let's run this. All right, so we didn't even need all those extra symbols. That's good. In fact, we don't even need the player's positions even less, which is good. Let me do this real quick. So I'm going to put this here so I can count. So we have 16. Whoops, I want to go to this mode. All right, so this is our platforms. This is our player, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. right? What did it say? We need 7. Right? Because we have, although I don't know how it's getting 7. Because this is the player, then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each of the players. 6. So we're at 6. Yeah, okay, 6. All right, we're good to go. Okay. All right, so that means we have 1 char left. All right. Unused, right? All right. I think we have all the rules now. I think we can actually start implementing this. Yeah, 5 letters, that totals 6 characters in the entire system. The original allocation was 7 characters, the enemy data. You now have 1 level code character left unused. This character can be reserved for future features validation or left as padding. So I have another idea. And I want to test this out real quick. Let me close this out. Because at some point I wanted to do different types of enemies, but it's really hard to figure that out. But I wonder if we did something like this, where we added in patterns. Actually, let's do it this way. I would do everything from left to, or from right to left. I'm just trying to see how many more. If we did something where the marker was at the enemy is 2 long. So we're still up to 24. It becomes too difficult to figure out at this point when they're mixed together like this. So this is only valid. What I was thinking is that we could lay out, we can have another enemy where it's represented these patterns, but this isn't going to work. I don't like this system. It's too hard to tell what is what. There we go. Sorry, these are our patterns that we're sticking with. All right. Enemy encoding. All right. Can you now update the enemy encoding MD file with this data. Remove anything that is no longer relevant or valid. I want this to be a clean document describing how to implement this enemy placement system. All right, I'm going to tell it to rewrite this document. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back, and then when I get back, we will start actually implementing some of the code and everything. So I will see you in a second. Alright, I am back. So, I'm noticing something weird here where it's not... Excuse me, where it's not actually... Why can't I make this any larger? It's not counting the patterns correctly. So, let's do this. Actually, we'll keep the patterns, but we're just going to call this UID. Or actually, we'll just do this. I'm just trying to clean this up real quick so that I can explain to it that there's actually 12 unique patterns. It thinks for some reason that 9 through 12 are unused. And actually, let's just do this. Let's just copy this. I'm going to create a new document real quick. This will just simplify me. I'm just going to do all the layout stuff for it. Stop. It's like trying to like auto complete, but it's just throwing off the entire document. 10 and 11. And 12. All right, so these are the patterns. This is the unique value. Oh, right. What I wanted to do was this. 2, 3, 4. We don't need these last 4 parts of the pattern. All right. That should give us everything we need right now. Patterns. I've gone ahead and simplified this for you. I see why it's getting confused. Out of 9 patterns. Each variation is a is horizontally flipped from the prime pattern. If the pattern can't be flipped, it just gets a single unique ID. I've gone ahead and simplified this for you. Simplified this for you to update the enemy encoding MD file. And then let's see, what's the last thing I needed to do? This cover, lastly, since we are only, hello all access, what am I doing? I am building a Game Boy game, and right now I'm trying to figure out how to save the level data so that you can share it with other people as a code. So doing a little bit of binary math this morning, which I'm almost about to be done, and then start jumping back into the code. Lastly, since we are, and having Copilot help us with some of the stuff that I'm too lazy to do. Lastly, since we are only, since enemies can only be on the top row, we just need to focus on matching the top 5 tiles in a block. Thanks. I appreciate the encouragement. Alright, let's have it do that. I'm going to delete this because we don't need it. And now, once we have it update the, enemy refactoring once we have it update this documentation, oh, everything's red. That then we'll be able to we'll be able to create a PRD in order to have the AI then implement this for us. Document is now up to date. Let's keep the changes. It has the unique patterns. Great. 36. All right. So now, since we only have 13 patterns, we should limit enemy level char to 0 through 9 and A through 9, 10, A, B, C, D. All right, so then the balance that really has to happen here is that it really comes down to, in order for somebody to enter this code back in, there's a lot of factors. It's a longer code, therefore I always am trying to get it to be the shortest amount of characters you have to cycle through in order to get a full level back. Let's keep this. And enemy patterns, direction bit mask, 20 is reserved, set to 0 for future features. Encode and decode function valid and maintainability. Yeah, whatever, okay. I hate when it just adds this superfluous stuff. Pattern ID. Okay, enemy pattern, perfect. All right, I think we have it now. So, with that in mind, what I actually want to do is I want to go back and I want to revert some stuff. Get status. We don't need these special characters anymore. So, this is going to be a pain. I think we can do it this way. Let's see if we break something. Git checkout. I don't know why Windows does this. When I try to like paste something. And then the other one we wanted to do was, that was in backgrounds meta tile set PNG. And we'll just paste assets tile map meta tile PNG. Okay. So if we come back into here and we reload the assets, our tile map goes back. We no longer need those additional characters. I'm just going to rebuild this just to make sure the tile map stuff still works. Oh, I screwed up something. Oh, I know what I did. I screwed up these because I went back to a different position, so that's fine. All right. That's good. These will just stay the same. All right, let me rebuild this again so we don't have those wacky palettes going on. What's happening is that we assign a palette into this meta tiles, and then it copies this tile over, including its palette and its collision map, which is super useful. This is a really great plugin called Meta Tiles by Miko, and this would not have been possible had I not found his. Sorry, I'm just double checking everything's working here. Had I not found his plugin. Okay. So now git status, git add all, git commit, and we're just gonna say preparing for enemy code refactor. All right, so now we can clear this and come back over here, and now we're going to create a new document or a new chat. I wonder which other ones are. I think I said I ran out of premium, but let's just see if I can still use this preview one. Maybe it'll be nice. Okay, so we're gonna put this and this in here. All right. Actually, before we even do any of this stuff, no, we can leave it like this. All right. I want to refactor the enemy layout and level code system. Before we begin, let me actually give it this enemy code. I want to move the player char position in the level code to be right after the platform chars at 17. This way we reserve the last 7 chars for reserve the last 7 chars for enemies. You've exceeded it. Enable. Alright, whatever. Just move me back over to ChatGPT 4.1. Okay, so let's see if this will now fix. I want to save these changes here. So basically, what I needed to do now is I needed to. I think the enemy layout character is off. Like, I don't know why it's like in the middle somewhere. Like it did this. Oh, cool! It's something broke. Oh. I think this is because it's doing all this stuff at the same time. And now my Mac has taken back my mouse. Give me my mouse back. Give me my mouse back. Alright. Anyway, so basically what I'm trying to say was that we really wanted to we really want the codes to be a lot cleaner. So let's do this. Let's go here. I'm going to see what the compiling error is. All right, so I don't know. It seems to have created some errors here. I'm just going to tell it to go and fix. Can you fix these errors? So while it does this, one of the things that I actually have really been liking, I sort of said it earlier in the stream for those of you who have not been here, is that I've been trying out Copilot a lot more. In the past, I either used something like Lovable, or I was just doing it by hand by using like ChatGPT or whatever for my like vibe coding stuff. What I found is that I actually like Copilot a lot because it's smart enough to start creating markdown files. So it started creating like lots of markdown files. Not that smart, right? And I just said, okay, hey, take all these markdown files and turn them into a cleaner set of documents, because what I like about this is as I go along, it's actually documenting my code for me. And this is really important for me, so I turn these things into tutorials, and I try to clean this stuff up later on, and I want to share it. So it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me as I'm coding, which is exactly what I want. My hope is to get the core, I keep saying this like every stream, but to really get the core functionality done today so that I can make levels and all that stuff, because I have to switch gears. I'm actually heading out to California next Sunday to do a course for LinkedIn about C# design patterns, and I need to focus on that for the week before I go out, so I'm prepared. And then there's 4th of July and a bunch of stuff, so I don't have many days to prepare. So my thought was that if I can just get this actually working on the flight and in between recording, I could just work on building out levels, and I don't have to worry about the coding so much. I think there's still more than enough time in this game jam. It's actually a very generous game jam. All right, so let's do this. I want to now switch over to here, and this should now move the player, for which it does not. Okay, I don't know why it does this stuff. Like, the player composition in the level code has been moved to index 16 immediately after the platform characters. The last 7 characters. No, this is 100% incorrect. Let me see. There might be one other. It might be getting confused on something where. No. See, this is not working at all. Now, when I place the player, the level code does not reflect the change by updating its char, and it's not updating the right one. It's still using when I do it manually, it's still tied to 17, 18, 19. Let's double check that for a second before I tell it something, because then it just gets confused. 20 to char 20 instead of char 17. The solution should be that moving the player via paint or by incrementing level code char 17 should update the player position and the code at the same time. All right, let's have it fix its mistake. Basically, I want to get this to a place where it can, before I start doing any of the enemy stuff, I really need to get this to where this becomes the player's position, because then that leaves everything else for the enemies. Because we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 5 positions that we were talking about earlier, and then this last one will be the bitmap flag or the bit flag that we use, bit mask. Thinking too far ahead of myself here while I'm trying to talk. The bit flag, bit mask, that will tell it whether we're having the enemy face left or right. So let's close this out while it does its work. I'm going to have a quick drink if I don't knock my picture over on the wall here. All right, looks like it's done. Let's keep this. Why is it doing 16? I said 17. Oh, I see what it is. All right, let's see if this actually builds. All those warnings are fine. That's not fine, though. The function is defined more than once. Your project just happens because the function was redefined in the code, likely due to code block added at the end of your file. Remove the duplicate definitions of paint player at the end of your file. Alright, well, you wrote it, not me, so what am I supposed to do about it? I actually find it's a lot harder to do this vibe coding stuff when I stream, mostly because it's just boring to wait for this to figure out what the hell it's doing. Usually when I'm not streaming and I'm doing this stuff, I actually have like 2 projects open at the same time, and then I just like switch between them. So I'll do like my Game Boy Dev on like one computer or one side of my screen, and then I do some other like web project or something else that I'm working on the other side. This way I'm like trying to, I don't know if the vibe coding stuff really helps that much. There's a lot of times where I still have to go in manually. Like I'm already getting the sense that I'm gonna have to come in here manually and just do this, which will be a lot easier. But it does let me prototype and get things done a lot faster, and it allows me to work on 2 projects, and it's a lot easier to context switch because the AI is sort of handling what's going on, and I have a history where I can chat and go back and read through that chat to figure out what I was just doing if for some reason I like lose that train of thought. Let's do... Alright, so I can't tell if this is a ChatGPT thing because it's giving me the cheap model right now or what, but it's not doing anything, and I hate it when this happens because it's so frustrating. Alright, so that's working. There's just a disconnect right now. I just want to make sure that none of these other numbers actually affect the player. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, J. That actually works out pretty well. The platforms go to K. This goes to J. So there's actually, so all all the characters we need in order to represent the level really are going to go up to K. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's, or actually, if I did it the other way, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 more characters than Hex. And again, this makes a huge difference because now you don't have to cycle through to like Z or something stupid like what was happening before. Because as you see, I can get up here to F, G, H, I, J, K. And this won't let me do a real K because there's a limitation on the length of the platform. But as you can see now, we don't have to go any further than that. If we go back to 0, it cycles through. So this makes entering in these levels a lot easier. Okay. There are 2 issues that need to be... all right. There is a disconnect between... Wait. Let's make this simpler. When I manually paint the player, the level code does not update. All right. I was about to tell it like 2 things. I do this all the time, and this is more of a problem. Like, I think it's more of how I approach coding than how the LLM really does. is that in my mind, I see that there's two problems that are happening. The first problem is that when I paint the player manually, it doesn't update the code. And the other is that when I use the code, it's not keeping track of placing the player only where there's a platform below it. And to me, in my mind, those two things are connected. So fixing both of those things at the same time makes logical sense, but the LLM gets like super confused by that. It doesn't understand the concept that the code is just like manually painting. And this is like just a big problem I've noticed when I've been relying on Copilot, is that the way I would handle it is that I want, anytime you enter a letter in the code, it is supposed to physically act like your player function in your project is likely to find it paint C, not. So look at, I thought I gave you paint C. So this is, I'm noticing this now. I didn't have this problem before when I was using Claude 4. This whole thing is like, this is because ChatGPT 4.1, first off, is terrible. It should actually be 4.0. And all right, the paint C to correctly update the player level char. Oh, I guess I can't use. I thought this makes no sense. It says it's included, so why does it not use 4.0? How is included? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this. I actually want to see what they charge me. Actually, I gotta take care of something real quick. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. I am back. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what it did here. Let's see if this actually fixed it. I'm kind of curious Copilot premium requests. Let's fix this real quick. I just want to test that this works. And then I'll see what it costs to upgrade this, because I actually find this way better than Lovable. Most of it's Lovable is like trying to just abstract this out and make it easier for you to code stuff, but I find it's just incredibly dumb. And it just messes up things. Like, as soon as the project gets more complicated than like the first 10 prompts, like, good luck. It's just not going to work. Let's see. I need to switch modes, and we should be able to place the player anywhere around here. It's still disconnected, so I don't know why. Oh my god, I can't take this. It's so bad. Why is ChatGPT so awful right now? Alright, you haven't addressed the underlying problems. Moving the player via paint is not updating the level code, and changing the level code is not repainting the player. These two things should work in sync. Changing the player's position in the level code is just like the user manually painting the player. And when the player is painted, the code should reflect its current position. All right, I'm gonna give this one more try. I'm gonna probably stop streaming the next couple minutes just to get offline and focus on this. I can only do so much of this stuff when I stream, and I have some other projects I need to be working on too at the same time, and I can't really do that while I'm streaming. So let's give this one last chance to smarten up. While it does that, I'm gonna look at, whoops. What does it cost to edit? Oh, amount to track your spending on a monthly basis. Stop usage when budget limit is reached. You get a notification when you spend more. Well, interesting. All right, I might actually pay for this today. This is, I honestly, I'd rather start giving Copilot my money than Lovable, because it actually works. So all of my Lovable projects are in like varying states of just like brokenness, and they're so hard. They're so hard to get to launch because it's just they can't do what needs to be done. And I was supposed to do the Bolt game jam that was going on. I think it's due today, and I couldn't even get anything to work in Bolt. Like, so these vibe coding tools still need a lot of work. Let's rebuild this and see if this works. Come on, build. All right. Let's start by Alright, it's not going to let me place the player anywhere because there's not a platform. Alright, it's telling me it's doing stuff, and like I'm not seeing the changes. And this is like, this feels like lovable right now. All right, well that worked. All right. Basically, the reason why I can't do anything more is because there's no other position to put them in. So then why? Okay, so the last issue. All right. Is not updating the level code. All right, let's see if we can fix this one last thing, and then I think that's a good place for us to stop right now. And then for the rest of the day, I'm going to work on the enemy layout system. I think we've worked through all of the minutia of it, and I'm feeling a lot better with this pattern system. So this should hopefully work today. And then that's the last really big hurdle I need to. Then after that, I can start doing level design. Look, it didn't change anything. You didn't even change any code. You're just telling me you did. I did not realize how bad ChatGPT was in Copilot. Like, this is like comically bad. Unless it made these changes and decided not to show me. All right, let's try this now. It's amazing how quickly I lose trust for these things when they start screwing up like that. Like the moment the LLM tells me it did something and it hasn't done anything, then I'm like, all right, I don't believe you anymore. I'm done. Don't want to bother with you at all. All right, and actually, I should probably put on my list of things to do today is clean up the add a chatbot to block the spam. All right, this is still not working. I've lost my patience for this. I don't know why this is so bad, but I guess maybe they do this on purpose to make you pay for more credits. So I guess that's what I'll be doing now. So, all right, thanks everyone for watching. I will be back tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to switch gears though. I have a bunch of C# to do, so I think tomorrow morning. I haven't decided yet. I might continue doing the Game Boy game in the morning and then just do the C# stuff on my own. So we'll see how I feel. But other than that, have a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.